Support for the roundup comes from Symphony 3. Councils around the country are working hard to keep their communities safe and prepared before, during and after emergencies such as bushfires and floods. And in recent weeks, Symphony 3 has been working with councils around Victoria, including Greater Bendigo, Mildura, Ararat and Golden Plains, to create emergency dashboards, pulling together live data including weather, traffic, emergency incidents, unplanned and planned disruptions, news and social media feeds. An emergency dashboard is cost-effective and can be deployed in just 3 days. Find out more at www.symphony3.com. Today on the Roundup, controversial flag policies on the agenda for 2 Melbourne councils. Wangaratta's $5 million parking decision, a regional council's Field of Dreams pitch to Costco. Newcastle's Lord Mayor steps down over health and childish behaviour. A councillor's push for a merger of 2 New South Wales councils. A WA mayor to apologise over minor conduct breaches. And new CEO and general manager appointments from across the country. Hello, I'm Chris Eddy. All of that and more just ahead on Australia's #1 local government podcast. It's the Local Government News Roundup. Brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3. Simple, connected customer experiences. It's Wednesday, the 11th of February 2026. Good to have you here. A decision on the flying of the Palestinian flag at the Preston City Hall has again been deferred by Darebin City Council. At a special meeting yesterday afternoon, the council determined to receive a briefing on the outcomes of a recently conducted 3-week community consultation process. The council will then determine the issue of the Palestinian flag as part of its adoption of a new flag policy, with that consideration to occur no later than the end of March. In the meantime, the Palestinian flag will continue to fly. The meeting was chaired by Deputy Mayor Councillor Matt Arturi in the absence of Mayor Councillor Emily Dimitriadis. Meanwhile, at Yarra City Council, a push to have the city's flag policy reviewed has failed to get off the ground. The Herald Sun reported that Councillor Andrew Davies has publicly called for a reversal of the council's policy on Australia Day and a return to flying the Australian flag at the city's town halls. He put forward a motion to this week's council meeting, but it failed to attract a seconder and therefore lapsed. The rural city of Wangaratta has ended its car parking agreement with the Co-store 8 years early with a $5 million payout. The 20-year deal from 2012 has cost the council more than expected due to lower than anticipated car park usage. Mayor Irene Grant says the decision prioritises long-term financial sustainability by eliminating the risk of future cost increases and removing the ongoing operating expenses associated with payments under the agreement. According to the Wangaratta Chronicle, exiting the deal will save $4 million in the long term, while allowing it to go the full term would have cost ratepayers $9 million. A Mansfield Shire petition against state planning reforms was discussed in Victoria's Legislative Council but failed to trigger an inquiry, described as a missed opportunity by Mayor Steve Raby. He believes the reforms impose a Melbourne-centric model on regional communities without consultation. The petition gathered over 2,400 signatures, opposing the Better Decisions Made Faster bill that forces councils to approve developments in as little as 10 days. Hume City Council is pushing the federal government to tackle illegal tyre dumping, with more than 4,500 tyres dumped in the city every year. The Star Weekly reported that the council wants stronger penalties for offenders and a nationwide free tyre recycling program to support a circular economy. Councillors say tyre fires have caused major incidents, including blazes that blanketed Melbourne in smoke. They're calling for a national education campaign and better monitoring of at-risk sites. The council says it can't bear the burden alone, with clean-up costs up to 6 times higher than proper disposal. More councils in the news. Golden Plains Mayor Owen Sharkey has pitched Gerringhap as the ideal location for Costco's planned Geelong store. The Geelong Advertiser reported that the mayor has written directly to Costco's country manager, highlighting the town's strategic position between Geelong, Ballarat and growing areas like Bannockburn. He described it as a field of dreams opportunity. Brimbank City Council has issued an urgent appeal for more police after losing 25 officers last year, the worst decline of any Victorian council area. The Herald Sun reported that the Western Suburbs Council wrote to the Police Minister in October but is yet to receive a response. Criminal incidents in the area rose by 7.2%, with Mayor Virginia Takos saying residents are frustrated by a lack of visible policing and slow response times. And Warrnambool City Council has slashed its tree canopy target from 30% by 2040 to just 15% by 2050. According to a report from The Standard, the council says the new goal is more realistic, given current canopy coverage sits at just 9.4%. Mayor Ben Blaine said if they hit the target early, nothing stops them from aiming higher. Also happening now, candidate nominations for the Greater Bendigo City Council Lockwood Ward by-election opened on Monday. The by-election will be conducted entirely by post, with ballot packs mailed to voters from Friday the 6th of March. Hindmarsh Shire Council has approved a fortnightly food organics and garden organics collection service, along with weekly general waste pickups. The decision follows a community survey where nearly 58% of respondents backed the option. And Corangamite Shire Council has launched Artscape, an online directory featuring more than 70 local artists and performers. Mayor Kate Macon says it's a one-stop shop for anyone needing performers or artists for events and projects. Event organisers are being encouraged to hire local talent, and new artists can register on the website. Before we head to the New South Wales report, if you're a keen local government observer like I am, you might have done a double take last night when councillor and former three-time Mayor Des Hudson from Ballarat City appeared on Channel 9's Tipping Point program. He came away with a tidy $6,400 and a mystery prize. A welcome boost to the bank balance, I'm sure, as Councillor Hudson is currently unemployed after recently stepping down from his long-term role with Victoria Police. Congratulations, Des, and for what it's worth, I think you made the right call to take the money. Newcastle's Lord Mayor Ross Kerridge has resigned immediately, citing health reasons as he battles side effects from recent cancer treatment. The resignation triggers a by-election for a new mayor expected in mid-April. Deputy Lord Mayor Charlotte McCabe will assume the role. Until then, Mr Kerridge had returned early from treatment to resume civic duties, but has now prioritised his health and family. And the Newcastle Herald reported that in his parting message, Mr Kerridge criticised what he called children pushing their own political careers and said Labor and Greens councillors hold an insurmountable majority that has blocked his agenda. The State Electoral Commission will finalise the election date within the week. Muswellbrook Mayor Jeff Drayton has responded to suggestions of a potential council merger with Upper Hunter Shire, saying any proposal would need to clearly benefit local residents. Radio 2NM reported that the discussion was sparked by Upper Hunter councillor Troy Stoltz, who believes combining the two councils could improve financial sustainability and strengthen the region's lobbying power. But Mayor Drayton says Muswellbrook hasn't received any formal proposal and hasn't held internal talks about the idea. While both shires share similarities, including a significant mining workforce, Councillor Drayton stressed that residents would have the final say. Upper Hunter Shire Council says it has no official position on the matter, but it is anticipated that it may come before its next meeting later this month. Albury City Council has appointed Steve McGrath as interim CEO for up to 12 months while searching for a permanent replacement for Frank Zachnich. Mr McGrath has over 30 years of experience in local government, including as CEO of Cootamundra Gundagai and Coffs Harbour councils. Mayor Kevin Mack said the appointment will provide renewed focus as the council delivers key programs and projects. Mr McGrath has commenced in the role immediately. Central Darling Shire Council has appointed John Seville as its new General Manager. He has over 30 years of senior executive experience in finance, governance and strategic planning. He holds an MBA and has previously worked at Narromine Shire and Norfolk Island Regional Council. He'll commence duties on the 9th of March. The Mayor of Shoalhaven, Patricia White, has welcomed a draft improvement order from the Local Government Minister targeting council recruitment practices. The Mayor has called an extraordinary meeting for this Friday to discuss the Council's response to the ministerial intervention. Mayor White supports the oversight measures, but is demanding the state provide evidence for some of the claims made in the draft performance order. Lismore Mayor Steve Krieg is demanding face-to-face meetings with federal and state ministers over a no-build buyback policy that he says will turn the flood-hit city into a ghost town. The Northern Star reported that there have been 655 approved buybacks in Lismore to date, representing around 40 hectares of land that could become grass under current restrictions. Mayor Krieg wants 4 industrial blocks gifted to the council for commercial development and buyback properties near the showground given to the North Coast A&I Society for event parking. Warrumbungle Shire and New South Wales Police have shut down an illegal tobacco shop in Binnaway after seizing prohibited tobacco products. Officers raided premises on Renshaw Street on Monday following community complaints about unlawful tobacco sales. An emergency stop use order has been issued, prohibiting any further occupation of the dilapidated building, and the council is considering charges against the Sydney-based operators. And there's more councils in the news. Federal Housing Minister Claire O'Neill has slammed affluent Sydney councils for obstructing housing development in well-located areas, according to a report from Government News. Speaking at the Sydney Summit, Ms O'Neill singled out North Sydney and Woollahra for approving just 24% and 29% of their housing targets respectively in the first year of the National Housing Accord. Lithgow City Council is grappling with a dramatic spike in workers' compensation claims, with premiums jumping 37% to over $1 million this financial year, according to the Lithgow Mercury. 9 of 15 claims in the past year were psychosocial in nature. And the St George and Sutherland Shire leader reported that parking fines collected by Sutherland Shire Council dropped by $860,000 during the 5 months after state government changes to the parking fine system took effect last July. The new law made it mandatory for motorists to be left a physical ticket rather than relying solely on digital systems. You'll find the links to all of those stories in our transcript and show notes. Head to lgnewsroundup.com. Also happening now, former council executive Brett Stonestreet has been appointed as the new chair of RDA Riverina. Mr Stonestreet was GM of Griffith City Council until last year. He succeeds Diana Somerville after nearly 5 years at the helm of the organisation. Wagga Wagga City Council is calling on the community to help stop ongoing vandalism and plant theft at the Botanic Gardens, which cost ratepayers over $12,000 last year. Thieves stole 50 proteas, 25 roses and 70 other plants from various garden beds. And Wollongong City Council will host the 15th Local Government Regional NAIDOC Awards in July, celebrating Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities across the Illawarra and Shoalhaven. The awards night is set for Saturday the 18th of July at the University of Wollongong. Local businesses and organisations are being called upon to sponsor the event, with nominations open now across 6 award categories. This is your midweek update from the Local Government News Roundup, brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association with support from Symphony 3. Let's whip round the other states and see what's happening. In Queensland, mayors from across the Darling Downs and southwest Queensland have united in Toowoomba to advance a shared regional agenda. The 2-day Council of Mayors meeting focused on critical infrastructure, water security, telecommunications and disaster resilience. Chair Jeff McDonald says the region is vital to Queensland's economy and food security. The meeting brought together leaders from 10 councils alongside government and industry representatives. Toowoomba Regional Council has purchased land in Westbrook for a future water treatment plant to boost water security in the region's high-growth southwest corridor. The plant is currently scheduled for completion by 2034, but could be delivered earlier with government funding. Deputy Mayor Rebecca Von Hoff said the project is essential to meet state housing targets, but requires investment from other levels of government to accelerate the timeline. Townsville City Council has welcomed 19 new recruits to its workforce, including 11 apprentices and 8 trainees. The new starters will work across various departments, from the Animal Care and Adoption Centre to Fleet Services and Laboratory Services. And Cairns Regional Council announced that Lake Placid has reopened after a $1.1 million restoration following damage from Cyclone Jasper. The project replaced essential services, built a new viewing platform and upgraded safety features. Mayor Amy Eden said reopening marks an important milestone in the city's recovery. From Tasmania, Devonport City Council is pushing ahead with the next phase of its CBD transformation, creating 2 major development sites in the heart of the city. The plan includes a new commercial building with office and retail space, plus a high-end residential apartment complex above multi-level public parking. The project aims to transform a vehicle-dominated area near the cinema into a vibrant, people-focused precinct with strong links to existing retail areas. The council is seeking private investment for the 2 parcels, which could support up to 6,500 square metres of office space and 7,000 square metres of residential accommodation. In South Australia, cyclists and e-scooter riders in the city of Holdfast Bay are on notice to slow down and give way to pedestrians on shared paths, including the Coast Park pathway. The council is keeping a 12-month register of incidents and concerns to provide to the Transport Minister. Council has requested increased police enforcement along Coast Park, particularly during summer, after applying earlier this year to ban e-scooters from footpaths on Jetty Road, Glenelg. In Western Australia, the City of Stirling Mayor Mark Irwin has withdrawn his appeal against a ruling that found he made improper use of his office. The West Australian reported that the Local Government Standards Panel found he committed 2 minor breaches during a heated exchange with a resident about a coastal boardwalk project in June 2024. The Mayor used the term hypocrisy toward the resident, which led to the formal complaint. Mr Irwin will now comply with the panel's orders, including making a public apology. The town of Port Hedland has appointed Dale Stewart as its permanent Chief Executive Officer after more than a year without one. Mr Stewart is a 40-year local government veteran who's previously led 4 councils as CEO. He'll commence on the 11th of May. He joins from the Shire of Narrogin, where he served as CEO for 7 years. He'll finish there on the 1st of May. Shire President Lee Ballard said the council would appoint an interim chief executive while conducting a statewide recruitment campaign to find Mr Stewart's replacement. A newly elected councillor in Serpentine Jarrahdale Shire is calling out what he sees as wasteful spending of ratepayers' money. ABC News reported that Councillor Kim Glicenti has questioned the Shire's $20,000 annual spending on councillor meals and $12,000 monthly rent on vacant office space. The Shire President defended the meal provision as necessary for staff and councillors working long hours, and the office lease as a cheaper alternative to a $7 million rebuild. Councillor Glicenti has declined his $25,000 councillor allowance. The Shire of Halls Creek has acknowledged serious findings in a newly released Auditor General's report. The current council and executive leadership team say they accept the gravity of the historic issues identified and have begun implementing a comprehensive improvement action plan with significant resources dedicated to the effort. And Perth's iconic Council House is set to undergo major remediation work starting this month. The 60-year-old building, opened by Queen Elizabeth II in 1963, requires urgent repairs to address water damage and structural problems in the lower ground floor. The front grass forecourt will be closed and fenced for approximately 12 months, with the ground floor concierge relocating to the lower ground floor during construction. Heading today's global report, in New Zealand, the former Mayor of Dunedin, Aaron Hawkins, is making an unexpected return to local politics, according to a report from Stuff. He's announced he'll contest the by-election triggered by the sudden death of current Mayor Jules Radich in January. Hawkins, who served as Mayor from 2019 to 2022 before losing to Radich, says significant changes in the political landscape have prompted his comeback. Far North Mayor Moko Tupanya has shut down speculation about his political future, confirming he will not stand as an MP in November's general election. RNZ reported the clarification came after councillor Davina Smolders falsely congratulated him on social media for becoming Northland's Labor candidate. Smolders is now facing code of conduct proceedings over the post. She says it was based on information from multiple sources. She's apologised and removed the post. To the UK, and Bedford Council's Conservative Mayor Tom Wooten has warned his council is in an extremely precarious position after councillors rejected his budget by 16 votes to 18, according to the BBC. The proposals to address a multi-million pound shortfall included suspending free parking, cutting grants and possible job losses. The council must legally agree a balanced budget before the 11th of March or face potential government intervention. Shropshire Council's forecast overspend has reached £53.2 million by the end of December, an increase of £2.5 million in just 2 months. The authority declared a financial emergency last September and could borrow almost £800 million over the next 5 years to cover increasing annual funding gaps. Cumberland Council has cracked down on an illegal waste collector operating without a licence. Officers seized an unroadworthy trailer full of mixed household waste dumped on a public highway. The unlicensed operator was fined £1,200 and 3 householders were each fined £600 for failing to check the collector's credentials. Council officials are warning residents they have a legal duty to ensure anyone removing their waste holds a valid licence. Meanwhile, Ealing Council has launched tidy teams to combat fly tipping. The council is investing £510,000 in specialist teams to crack down on illegal dumping across the borough. 50 remote CCTV cameras will be deployed at a cost of £860,000. And the budget also includes £540,000 for a pilot household recycling service with touring mega skips. And a Bristol city centre artwork has deteriorated badly just months after opening, leaving the council's deputy leader embarrassed, according to BBC News. The £61,000 creation, called Our Common Ground, had to be repainted within a month of its September unveiling and has continued to fade. An investigation is underway as to why it has flaked so quickly. Councillor Heather Mack expressed frustration that public money was spent on the project. The council says repairs can't be made until spring due to weather conditions. To Japan next, where the town of Fujiyoshida near Mount Fuji has cancelled its cherry blossom festival after a decade, citing unmanageable tourist numbers. Up to 10,000 visitors now flock to the town daily during peak season, causing chronic traffic congestion and litter. Residents report tourists trespassing on private property, opening doors without permission and even defecating in private yards. The surge is blamed on social media popularity and a weak yen, according to BBC News. Mayor Shigeru Horiuchi says they must protect citizens' dignity and living environment. And finally to Canada. Tragic news with a Campbellton, New Brunswick councillor and his wife reportedly having died following a weekend accident, according to CTV News. Gaetan Cormier was elected to the council in 2022 and previously served as alderman for the village of Atholville for a decade. Cormier, a former New Brunswick power worker, was also a volunteer firefighter for 15 years. Deputy Mayor Luc Couturier says the community is heartbroken by the loss. And the city of Surrey, British Columbia, has called on the federal government to declare a national state of emergency following a dramatic surge in extortion-related violence. The city recorded 35 incidents this month alone, compared to 132 through all of last year. Mayor Brenda Locke says the crimes exceed the capacity of municipal government and conventional policing. She's calling for a commissioner for extortion violence and expedited removal of non-citizens charged with extortion offences. You've been listening to the Local Government News Roundup, episode number 449, recorded on Wednesday the 11th of February 2026. Comments or feedback on the show can be sent by email to lgweeklynews@gmail.com. You can find out more about this episode, including all the story links, by heading to lgnewsroundup.com. The podcast is brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences. We record in the city of Greater Geelong, Victoria, on the land of the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation. Until next time, thanks for listening and bye for now.